Hey, it's Tansel, and today I want to talk about how to prevent memory loss. Memory loss could happen at any age, but more so, it's more about the feeling of, are you losing your memory? Because we might do things that we might be great at what we do, we might be mentally active, but we still forget. But if you keep forgetting over and over again, it starts to question, right? Or we start to question what's going on and think, hey, no, am I losing my memory? Is it memory loss? What is it? So let's go in and explore deeper on what it could be and how you can prevent memory loss just by using a few techniques and skills and preparation. So let's look into it. In order to get better with this preventing memory loss, you need to understand three different stages. The first stage is all about being cautious and attentive to what's going on. What does that mean? It means that in order to help you not forget, you need to prepare yourself to be active and in some cases to remember. That is actually very difficult to do. And the reason for that is our brains are almost automatic. They're always wired to keep things in motion. Like, for example, your day just keeps running. You could be studying all day, you could be working all day, and we just do things without even taking into account, do I need to memorize something? Do I need to learn something? Do I need to stop and listen? Quick example of this is eating food. We do it so automatically that sometimes we just shove everything in our mouth and that's it. Whereas what some people do is they either pray, acknowledge that there's food there, or some people just eat slowly and try and understand that, okay, what I'm absorbing is either good for me, is doing good visuals, all that sort of stuff. You know, I've got one client that was eating his steak really, really quickly and then halfway realized that, gee, it was an expensive steak. I'm going to take my time and enjoy it, right? So what I'm trying to say is that you need to be mindful. That's the first stage, being mindful first, and then you can apply the other strategies. So if you're forgetful of remembering people's names, if you're forgetful of, leaving your keys somewhere, all that sort of stuff, right? Before you even get to the forgetting stage, remember that's the last stage. If you're putting down your keys somewhere, this is the stage where you need your mindfulness. Remember where you're putting your keys and you can make that connection first, right? When I say remember where you're putting your keys, what I mean is be mindful. Put your keys on the table, but this time visualize the keys getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and maybe breaking the table, right? So you're making some sort of an association. You're preparing yourself. So next time when you lose the keys, you're walking around the house going, oh, where are my keys? And you walk past the table, what happens is that you look at the table and go, hang on, why did the table break? And look underneath and the keys underneath or something like that, right? So you're priming your brain. Be mindful. If you're meeting people, right? And let's say you're bad with names. Well, guess what? If you know you're going to meet people, prime your brain, say, okay, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to meet a few people tonight. What do I need to do? I need to get my, story association game in my head. If you haven't checked out my How to Remember Names videos, check them out because you can get a lot out of it. But what you like to do is get techniques in your head, prime yourself. If you're meeting someone, try and maybe add a bit of extra care in terms of, okay, I want to understand more about that person. Maybe I'll ask a few more questions because the more information you get, the more you're going to understand. I've built context around that. See what I'm doing here is I'm building the blocks to be able to remember, because if it's automatic, you're not going to do any of this and then it's going to be easier to forget. Preparation is key. Okay, so that's the first stage. Once you prepare, the second stage, which we've sort of talked about, is the actual memorization stage, or the stage where you're consciously doing the work in terms of memorization, and recall sort of comes from that memorization component. When I say memorization, it's a mixture of visualization, encoding, association, all of that. Again, I'm trying to make it simple for you, but again, if you watch all my other videos, there's a ton of that in there as well in terms of how to memorize better and how to recall better and so forth. So you're memorizing, you're putting the action in place. Then once you do those two, the third is recall. Most people say you don't have to do recall because naturally it happens. If you do the first two correctly, recall is automatic. But if you don't do the first two, what happens is that you start thinking and you think, then you can't remember. So you have to go back. Recall can be trained through memory training, through brain training, all of that sort of stuff. So in order to strengthen your recall, practice your memorization. So you don't have to practice it then and there when there's someone in front of you or there's, things you want to be able to remember. You can do it scheduled away from all the work. You can say, okay, I'm going to do 10 minutes. I'm just going to go through my, Facebook feed or YouTube channels or whatever, and whatever person's name I come across, loss, I'm going to make up a story. Or if there's 10 words I need to remember, let's see if I can make a story with that. What happens is that you're training your brain to make up associations and connections. And the faster you get at that, then the quicker you get at being able to remember better. All right, so how does this tie into preventing memory loss, right? I guess the big overarching thing, we looked at how to remember better, right? Essentially those three areas. But in order to prevent memory loss, you need to be able to do this on a consistent basis. Right? So the question is, well, how often do I do it? What I suggest is don't sort of sit there counting, have I done it 6 times this week? Or do I need to do it 12 times or so on? Try and incorporate it into your daily life. So it doesn't matter how many times you do it. What matters is that you're practicing it constantly and engaging within your brain. Because if you're constantly exercising your brain, guess what that's doing? That's essentially training your brain to focus and be attentive and to be mindful. And then once you've got that in your brain, with the memory associations, you'll be able to recall better. Eventually, over a period of time, what will happen is that you will start to slowly prevent your memory loss and, believe it or not, get better at memory. So that's what we want. We want to get better. It's like physical training. Now, if you train your body, yes, the body can break down slowly over the years, but the brain can only get stronger. Give that a go. I'm sure if you've got any questions, feel free to comment down below. Also, if you've got ideas for further videos for me to make, or if you've got deep down burning questions, comment down below so I can make videos on them. So thank you very much. Just a quick summary on all of that. 3 stages to prevent memory loss. 1, being mindful of knowing what to do at that particular time. 2nd is using those memorization methods, visualization, association, connection, reflection, all of that to make things stronger. And if you do those 2 really well, then the 3rd part, recall, happens really, really well. And you can also train for it. So hopefully that's indicated everything you need to prevent memory loss. Any questions, let me know. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.